I was hoping you were home.
Okay, Audrey, you really freaked us out in Descendants 3. We know you lost your shot at the crown, not to mention your boyfriend, but don't worry. You don't have to be the Queen of Mean to get what you want. We think we speak for everyone when we say we're glad you put down that scepter. But we have to be honest, your evil look was wicked cool. Before you judge Audrey, there are some things you need to know about her. She's not your typical villain kid. She's a good princess gone bad, gone good again. But here's what nobody realizes about Audrey in Descendants 3. Keep watching to find out who she's teaming up with after D3. Audrey didn't start out as evil. Sure, she was a little full of herself, and yes, she thought Ben was her property. We're not even sure she loved Ben, or if she was dating him so she could just rule Auradon.
I was Prince Ben's girlfriend on the fast track to becoming his wife and the queen.
Audrey was clearly bitter about Mal stealing everything she ever wanted, but she shocked everyone when she stole Maleficent's scepter and turned into the Queen of Mean. How did this happen? Let's start at the beginning and piece this thing together. At the beginning of the movie, Audrey wasn't planning on creating a sleep spell that knocked out all of Auradon. She had just returned from the salon, rested and fresh with a fabulous new makeover. You could see the look of complete and total shock on her face when Ben proposed to Mal. We watched Audrey's dream of being the Queen of Auradon shatter like a glass slipper. When Audrey broke into the museum, she didn't intend to go full evil. She just wanted to steal the crown. Did you notice that she didn't even put the crown on her head until after she transformed into evil Audrey? She was about to throw it away, but then the scepter hypnotized her the same way Maleficent hypnotized Sleeping Beauty. Some people thought that Audrey caused the guard at the front of the museum to fall asleep. But what if it was the scepter? Maleficent's scepter beckoned Audrey into the museum and lured her into going full villain. The scepter wanted her to take control of it. The magic in that staff was too much for Audrey to resist. She was under an evil spell which caused her to cast many additional evil curses. So, was it all Audrey's fault? Keep watching to find out. When Ben and Mal got engaged, Audrey didn't only lose out on the crown. She also lost her first love. Ben was the only boy she's ever had eyes for. She had her future with him all planned out. We know that Mal didn't mean to do it, but she took it all away from Audrey. It seemed that Audrey had everything a princess could want, but did she truly love Ben? Audrey was betrothed to Ben since she was just a little girl. Perhaps her grandmother convinced her to love Ben despite what she really wanted. In Audrey's room, there are pictures of her and Ben going all the way back to preschool. Audrey was too young to be able to choose a partner for herself back then. Those photos were staged by Audrey's grandmother. Who knows if Audrey would have chosen Ben to be her boyfriend if she had a choice from the beginning? So who would she choose if it were up to her? We'll get into that a little bit later. It's obvious that Audrey only wants to make her grandmother proud. In fact, every action Audrey takes in the Descendants movies is tied to her need to please her Grammy. So when Audrey hears her grandmother's biting words of disapproval after Mal and Ben's engagement, it cuts her to her core. All she ever wanted was to make her Grammy proud.
Our family status gone.
Queen Leah's expectations of Audrey were impossible to achieve. Audrey reached her breaking point when she learned she would never be the Queen of Auradon. That's when she crowned herself the Queen of Mean. Underneath all of that pink hair and distressed leather was just a little girl who needed the unconditional love and approval of her grandmother. Instead, her grandmother slapped her with that cruel comment that Audrey's mother could hold on to a prince in her sleep. Now we see where Audrey learned to be so mean. Now here's the really mind-blowing thing that nobody gets about Audrey. If it wasn't for her, the barrier would have never been opened. Audrey's evil deeds became the catalyst for change in Auradon. Allow us to explain. Before Audrey stole the crown and the scepter, another villain was stirring up trouble. That's right, we're talking about Hades. After he pushed his way through the barrier and almost stole all of Mal's powers, everyone in Auradon was terrified. They wanted to close the barrier for good, and it was all Mal's idea, which was a total whoa moment for fans.
I think that we have to close the barrier. Forever.
If Audrey hadn't stolen the crown and scepter, put a sleep and stone spell on everyone, and turned Ben into a beast, Mal would have learned nothing. Instead, Mal came to realize that there is both good and evil in everyone. That realization is what made Mal decide to take down the barrier for good. So, thanks, Audrey. Thankfully, when Audrey woke from her deep sleep, she was back to her old self again. Alas, she was still without a prince on her arm, but don't feel bad for her. From the sparks flying between Audrey and Harry, we think the pirate's life might be right for Audrey. So what's your verdict? Is Audrey mean or misunderstood? Sound off in the comments. Thanks for watching The Things. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fun videos like this one. We'll see you next time.